everyone, and welcome to Charles Haugen Reviews. Today, we are going to be looking at Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein. I was lucky enough to be able to see it. It is in select theaters as we speak, and will be moving to streaming on Netflix soon. Definitely go see this on the big screen. I considered doing a plot summary / synopsis of this film, seeing as it's probably the most true, accurate depiction that we've had of the Frankenstein story. It's a story that we've all seen a million times. It's just done in a very unique way. Instead of specifically looking at a synopsis and the plot summary, I would rather just talk about how this film hits the themes. One of the biggest themes in Frankenstein, in the original novel especially, is guilt, the mad search for power and the mad search for control over mortality, and basically what the repercussions of seeking such knowledge can do. It's a very cosmic horror element to a story where there are things that we are not really meant to know or understand. And this film is probably the best that has ever been made of Frankenstein when it comes to portraying the emotional themes of regret, of guilt, of this maniacal desire and passion for control. And I thought that it was splendid. Again, it's not a story that we don't know. It's not like we don't know how it's going to end, or we don't know the twists and turns of what happens. This is a story that's been done for 100 years now, just about, if not longer. So all that said, this is the best execution I think that we've ever had of that story. In regards to cinematography, Frankenstein is a visual spectacle. It is something that deserves to be seen on a big screen. There are so many Gothic elements in the architecture. It really feels alive. It feels real. There's a great use of color, especially in the stormy scenes or in the scenes when we are at the castle where everything goes down. There's a very heavy use of weather to show the environments. These snowy areas are beautiful. The grassy areas are beautiful. Everything about this film is gorgeous. Now, I wouldn't say that this is Guillermo del Toro's most artistic attempt with cinematography and with his direction, but I will say that this is probably his most ambitious. I think that this film looks and breathes like nothing you've ever seen before. It is the penultimate Gothic representation of Frankenstein, and I definitely think cinematography is one of the high points here. Again, it's not artistic in the sense that you're going to notice all of these really intricate things like you would in a Kurosawa film or even a Denis Villeneuve film, but it is a very, very just pleasant viewing experience. So if you can see it in theaters, definitely see it in theaters. As with Guillermo del Toro, the VFX in this film are stunning. I will say that there are a few moments where it felt like it didn't quite have a consistent budget in the VFX. Some of the CGI was a little bit dodgy and a little bit uncanny valley for me personally. Anytime that Guillermo del Toro did practical effects, it was unbelievable, amazing. And those were some of the highlights of the film for me. So when you go see this, definitely keep an eye out for those practical effects, because I think that Guillermo del Toro nailed it here. When it comes to sound and score, the score in this movie was very whimsical, if that makes sense. Fantastical. It felt very bouncy and very dreamy, very dreamlike, very fantastical, like I said before. I think that the score itself at times didn't quite fit the film. There were no themes that really stood out to me that I'm going to be humming in my head after leaving. I felt like the whimsical nature of the score did not match what we were seeing on screen. As far as sound, overall, I think that the sound mixing was not the primary focus of this film. I think it was a much more visual experience, and sound in general I don't think was really prioritized high on the list. I do think that the The sound was very well done in action sequences. Just overall as a whole, it just felt like it was more of an accessory rather than a main part of the development of the film. As for performances, I'm going to be probably one of the only people that you see that's going to say that Oscar Isaac, I think he did a great job and I think he's a really good actor. But personally, I just don't buy him as Victor Frankenstein. I don't know what it is. If I really had to like pin it down, I think that I just don't see the madness and the being consumed by this desire and passion in Oscar Isaac's performance that I do in a lot of other performances. And maybe it's also because Oscar Isaac has become such a staple in popular franchises, and
somehow Palpatine returned.
I feel like this is one of the first like more indie projects, if you want to call it that he's done recently, at least non-franchise projects. And I don't know, even Inside Llewyn Davis, when that movie came out and he was getting all the buzz, it never moved me, man. Just like Charlemagne the God said, it never moved me. Or it didn't move me.
Nada. I'd rather stuff my pockets with these dollars till the Fetty make it burst like pinatas. From the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see like how you can like listen to that and not like be like, that's.
It doesn't move me, man. Like,
yeah, he was perfectly acceptable and he did a good performance. But personally, for me, I just don't see him as that character. Jacob Elordi, on the other hand, as the monster, was the highlight of the film. The emotional core, the heartbeat. I mean, he was fantastic and honestly shocking. I haven't seen this guy in a lot of other stuff besides I know he was in Euphoria, and he's going to be in Wuthering Heights, I think, with Margot Robbie. But yeah, I haven't seen him in a lot of different stuff, and seeing him in this film, it was a really good surprise, and he was great at emoting and conveying the despair and the grief that this character has and the fear and the sadness. His performance is what lends you to really dislike certain characters in the film. Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. Christoph Waltz didn't get as much attention as I would like. He didn't get as much spotlight. His character felt more of a kind of a device to get the plot in motion more than anything. He didn't feel like he had any true personality, and when you find out his motives for what he's trying to do, or why he's helping, it's kind of whatever. I didn't really care, to be honest. Mia Goth, though, she's good as always. I thought she was another highlight in the film. Her and Jacob Elordi were definitely the two best performances overall in the film. But definitely go see this for the monster, because it is honestly a breakout performance for Elordi. As for the writing, there's not much to say here. It's a very close adaptation of Mary Shelley's novel, probably the closest we're ever going to get, or at least that we've gotten yet. The story is iconic, it's legendary, it's classic, and obviously there are some liberties that go into making a film like this, adapting a novel, even one as timeless as Frankenstein. And as for the writing of the dialogue and the writing of the plot structure and things like that, I thought it was actually really good. I like this a lot more than the Frankenstein film from the early 90s with Robert De Niro. I like it more than probably any other adaptation besides Boris Karloff's. But even that film, I think this is probably superior to it, to be honest. The Karloff one is legendary, classic, timeless, just like the novel. But as far as overall quality, I do think that this is a superior film. Now, in regards to the narrative structure and the writing, the narrative structure here is actually really interesting. And I think that Guillermo Del Toro did a great job of choosing a unique and novel method of conveying and explaining or portraying this story. And he did it in two different segments, where in the first segment we see Victor Frankenstein's point of view, and then in the second segment we get to see the monster's point of view. And basically you get a taste of both sides and what each person is seeing. Yeah, overall, I think the writing was good. I think that they did a great job adapting it. It wasn't difficult to follow. It wasn't difficult to understand the dialogue, even though it's supposed to be back in the day. Overall, I think the writing was a strong suit for this. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up Mary Shelley. Now, as for my overall rating for this, I was very conflicted coming out of the theaters because I think it's a great movie. I think that there are so many more redeeming qualities of it than bad qualities. But this was a film that I watched. There were moments that genuinely shocked me. There were moments that I was not expecting or that just made me shake my head like, oh my God, this is awful. I do like the exploration of the darker side of Victor Frankenstein here, and getting to see like the parallels with him and the way that he was raised was really good. All of that said, it wasn't a film that I came out of it I need to go watch this again right now, or I'm going to buy another ticket, etc. Films that I really, really love, I'm almost immediately, as soon as I leave the theater, like, okay, when am I going to see it again? This one I didn't really feel that with, and I do need to rewatch it again, though, because there was a lot of, like, excitement going into this. But as of right now, I'm probably leaning into a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for this, and I don't really see that changing. Even if I go and see it again and I like it even more, then I'm just going to lean into the 8. I think that there are flaws with it. Sound is really huge to me, and I think that the sound is kind of really takes a back seat. I didn't really feel that the score fit the movie at all. It was too whimsical, especially when what you're having on screen is brutal and violent and disturbing. It's like, why? I don't know. It was an odd choice, and I wonder if the composer had seen the film before they did the music, or if Guillermo Del Toro just kind of told them what he was going for. But yeah, sound is very important to me, and that was a big letdown because I was hoping we'd have some type of iconic theme or iconic, music that gets stuck in my head after I leave the theater. But we didn't get that. If it had a better score, it would probably be more of like in the 9 range for me, just to show you how much of a difference that makes. But overall, I am still kind of concrete in a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Oscar Isaac, as much as I think he is a talented actor, he also brings the score down a little bit, just because I don't see him as that character, and it's very difficult for me to get behind it, if that makes sense. It just feels like a miscasting. And I know that people are probably going to praise the heck out of him and say he deserves an Oscar for this. It's all fine and dandy. It's just my personal opinion. Take it as you will. But those are my thoughts on the film, and I am excited to hear yours. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you want to spoil the review as well.